What is some uplifting news about the COVID-19 outbreak? A lot more people are building the habit of washing their hands properly. Phew, that was a close one. Time to neglect simple hygiene until the next big disease comes to light. I'm honestly grossed out that it took a pandemic for people to wash their hands after they go to the bathroom. Huge reduction in air pollution over China due to large number of quarantined people. https://www.livescience.com/coronavirus-changes-pollution-over-china.html. The Genghis Khan approach to reducing pollution. I live in Korea and we get a lot of pollution from China. I hate to say it, but I absolutely love how clean the air has been the last few weeks. Quarantined kids in Wuhan spammed their homework app with 1-star reviews, so it got taken down and they don't have to do homework. Modern problems require modern solutions. That is so beautiful. With everyone freaking out over COVID-19, it's likely some people have avoided more colds and flu cases. This is very true. The number of general viruses and infections circulating will have dropped, as well as improved hygiene leading to less issues even in settings like hospitals where you have hoped they'd have good standards anyway. This event is bringing a lot of attention to employer policies on sick leave, remote work, and workplace hygiene. We're very likely going to see some degree of enduring changes in the aftermath, and they'll largely all be ones that make things better. It's sad that we needed a pandemic panic to get there, but it is a silver lining. It's unfortunate we need pandemics or disasters to get the point across for anything. Everyone will be super conscious for a while, but a year after the epidemic ends, everything will be back to normal. Recently, a 98-year-old recovered from the disease. You sure it wasn't 9 8-year-olds? I don't think that's going to be rare either. China CDC's analysis of 44,672 patients found that the fatality rate in patients who reported no other health conditions was 0.9%. 2 temporary hospitals built in China have been taken down due to the fact everyone there has recovered. Edit. Source. Yeah, but one hospital took itself down. It can be sang to the tune of Come On Eileen. Musical note: Come on Eileen, you got COVID-19. Musical note: COVID-19, get your hands nice and clean. If they're dirty, go into quarantine. There's no queues in the tourist areas of Italy. And even more pigeons to feed. Imagine being able to see the Sistine Chapel by yourself. Only the Pope, probably, can do that normally. My wife and I just bought our first house. Interest rates on mortgages are at an all-time low because the 10-year Treasury yields were further pushed down by COVID-19 fears. This happened while we were waiting to close the house and saved us nearly $70,000 over the next 20 years and helped us close on an amazing property. I'd still rather people not die, but person shrugging male sign. Congrats. I'm closing on mine in 2 weeks. Although Corona hadn't hit the US yet. So my rate was like 3.5. I wonder about asking someone about that, but then I remembered they said I'm locked in. Would refinancing be a smart option right now? Approximately 2 years since purchase of the home. The gas prices are going down. Also, super cheap flights. And GT going down. That's hot. People are finally taking hand washing seriously. That's amazing news that will help prevent much more serious diseases. I was wondering about this. The death rate for other infectious diseases might go down with all the people in lockdown. At school, people are finally cleaning up after themselves, being more careful, etc. Everyone's actually trying to keep the school clean for the first time ever. It's not affecting kids very strongly. And it's not killing them at all. I've read it's also not affecting unborn babies in the 3rd trimester. It's not crossing the placenta. And it's not affecting pregnant women any worse than others. So that's cool. Edit. https://www.ncdc.gov/ed/article/20/028/7_article. 70% of all infected has already recovered in China. Europe will probably have to endure another month or so, but it will pass. In the meantime, stay safe everyone. Yeah, honestly, the whole end of the world thing is just weird. Come on, we have survived worse. This is an incorrect interpretation of what's happening in China. It's not that everyone is recovering in China because the disease has been around for a couple months. In China, what's happening is that they have almost completely stopped the new infections, through extreme controls like restricting most travel, and taking everyone's temperature before they enter a supermarket or even their own apartment building. In China, the infection rate is about 100 people per day of confirmed infection. That's less than 0.2% growth in infections per day. In the rest of the world, the number infected is growing by about 20% per day, about 100 times greater than China. Some of the data collection is sloppy and this will alter the numbers a small amount, but the important thing to know is that the disease is spreading exponentially, and it will not pass in another month or so. Large companies like Amazon and Microsoft are promoting telecommuting. This has the potential to have long-lasting impacts on the way businesses do business. If employers see they can spend less on overhead maintaining campuses, it can reduce traffic and carbon footprint, improve employee quality of life, increase worker productivity, perhaps lead to a reduced work week or allow for a more flexible work week, and all sorts of other possibilities. Edit. I've worked from home for almost 20 years. Let me address some concerns. A work day is a work day. Don't think just because people are working from home they're going to be inclined to work after hours, off the clock just because they're home. Working from home doesn't mean you don't have opportunity for social interaction. People still have church groups, people still meet other parents at school-related functions, there are still adult sports rec leagues, bars exist, and maybe you can always make friends at the gym. Unless they're got earbuds in. That's sort of an international sign of please let me work out and don't try to engage me in conversation. Telecommuting would require home internet and may increase the need to places to have up-to-date service. This isn't vastly different than electricity in homes or telephones. Internet is basically a utility. No, not everyone works well without the threat of someone walking in to see they have work on their computer screen. No, not everyone would have the discipline to work in an out-of-office environment. Flights are cheap. Someone at work had a family member take a Europe to North America flight in the last few days. Apparently there were fewer than 10 people on the flight. I saved $70 on a round-trip ticket to Denver. I wonder if hotels are following suit. NYC subways are much cleaner. People are more aware of personal and public hygiene. We dodged COVIDs 1 through 18. That's cause it'd be illegal to be fucked over by them. More people have recovered than are currently sick. My parents have stocked up on tons of dry goods and household items. Which means when this blows over, I am going to get about $200 of items the next time I visit. Removed. People are finally washing their hands. Spread of regular sicknesses have slowed to a crawl. Silver lining of paranoia is, admittedly, a tighter grip on the spread. Air quality over China and therefore, likely a year-long improvement globally. The problem, panic and inefficiency with for-profit healthcare, is exposed 1,000-fold. Vaccine is already being tested. Likely for emergency use in the next handful of weeks. Elder family members might finally learn how to use internet-based video connections. But let's not be crazy about that. I've actually bought some extra food for the freezer in case I need to stay in for a handful of days. Vacations are going to be cheap as fuck. More handwashing, which may become more common. Folded hands. My school might close and I'd have to do online school. Not having to leave my house sounds like a dream, and I wouldn't have to deal with forced social interaction with people I don't like. Plus, I could probably finish the school work in half the time I would at school because I would be able to focus better and be able to just watch Netflix for the rest of the day. Very mood. I'm realizing how little I actually need to leave the house for school, go to uni as a computer science major, and while I'm getting cabin fever right now, it's pretty nice to just relax, haha. All the anti-vaxxers will be eliminated when the vaccine comes out. Not if they use essential oils. Hopefully the development of a vaccine for this epidemic that is scaring the shit out of people will put a huge dent in their movement. They closed down 2 makeshift hospitals in Wuhan today because all the patients admitted within recovered. School and work closings. Not necessarily uplifting in the grand scheme of things, but a week or 2 off is appreciated by anyone. It's brought attention to the needs of things like paid sick leave, universal healthcare, etc. Coronavirus not spread via cake consumption, so enjoy a happy and safe cake day. Sneezes on cake. Let them eat cake. It seems that children under 10 are very resistant to the virus, as none have died of COVID-19. This is what really allayed my fears over my kid. She is 4, so in the prime, this virus likely won't mess with me, age. Her dad and I are in our 30s and healthy, so we will likely be fine too. Just hoping for no quarantine, because we will all be going nuts by the end of it. It has reduced pollution, and will likely continue to do so. Until they feel like they've gotten control of it, in which case they'll fire up the polluting factories soon enough. Denmark is a very environmentally friendly country. China is not. Since the coronavirus outbreak, many people have had to stop working, which means factories closing, which means less pollution. China is now almost as environmentally friendly as Denmark. In the scramble for new medicaments and vaccines, new technologies will be used and the usual regulatory framework will be streamlined a little because of the time constraints. We may reap quite a lot of new drugs and technologies from this crisis that would otherwise take decades to develop. This is similar to war, another big driver of technological progress. Only in this case, the enemy is not human. But the sense of urgency is similar. And in this case, the entire mankind is on the same fighting side. Who knows, maybe the outbreaks caused some anti-vaxxers to realize that, modern medicine exists for a reason, and vaccines are one of the major reasons why outbreaks and pandemics like this don't really happen all that often anymore. But that's probably wishful thinking on my part. But I still wonder if anti-vaxxers would take a COVID-19 vaccine when it becomes available, given that it's something happening in real time. Everyone staying indoors is causing a decrease in CO2 release. The mortality rate is low and many people have in fact recovered. Keep your immune system strong. Flexed biceps. Yup, today was leg day, tomorrow is immune system day. The very young so far appear to recover from COVID-19 more so than typical flu strains. I believe there still has been no reported COVID-19 deaths below 9 years old at time of writing. At least one person is bound to get bitten by a tick, go to the hospital, and be diagnosed with corona with Lyme. People are less likely to want to hug or shake hands, which is good news for me, because I have germophobia. I've been doing finger guns at people instead. Great news for me, because I hate people. Animal Crossing is coming out in 2 weeks and my job had been working me like a horse. It's starting to get bad in my area, so I think I'll get some time off to enjoy it. I 100% respect your priorities. Bright sides, those who own Lysol, Purell stock are probably seeing gains. Companies are seeing that remote access work and conferences work well and may be able to implement them for the benefit of disabled people, something they've refused to do till abled people were affected, unsurprisingly. You won't have to share your cake with anyone. Happy Cake Day. Deleted. Mortgage rates are going down. Housing markets might become more affordable. Usually lower mortgage rates drive home prices up because people can take out a larger loan for the same monthly payment. It got me laid. This girl I am seeing is legit panicking over it, and she didn't get her hands on the hand sanitizer things before they sold out. Guess who has a little sister who's been collecting those small bottles with sanitizer? Me. I gave her the box. We ended up having sex afterwards and infected her with a far worse virus. And saved none for your sister. Most people who have got the virus have already recovered. The growth rate in China has gotten ridiculously small, with only 99 new cases last day. It shows that public measures definitely work. More so, it's likely the public measures that work are unrelated to the lockdown. We are talking about speeding up testing, teaching people to wash hands and aggressive contact tracing. And now, while the number of cases is small in the other countries, the impact of implementing the public measures can be a huge component of greatly reducing spread and fatality. And it's not just China. Singapore has also been impressive here, more so than China. Basically, we now know that with proper measures the virus reproduction number can be 0.35. It can be contained. My grandma's city of Reynosa, Tamaulipas, Mexico is starting to fine people for littering and making an unhealthy environment, which is helpful since the place has become so polluted the river is now green with trash all around it. It's sparing children. Summer is coming. I heard from an expert, don't remember whom, that since we don't really know the virus that well yet we can't say for sure that it will be debilitated during the summer like the flu. Maybe it will finally convince the US to get its healthcare system up to speed with the rest of the first world. Let's be real here. It was speculated that COVID-19 may have been contracted from pangolins, so there was hope that the animals might be trafficked less after this. Plus I just discovered pangolins exist and are adorable, so that's a win. Iran just offered its citizens 100 gigabytes of free data to stay indoors. Mad lad. 1. We're all gonna have gloriously clear skin from not touching our faces. 2. One UK airline has already gone under, and combined with climate concerns, the rest will have to start changing their models to stay alive. I'm hoping there'll be a shift in domestic travel because it really shouldn't be a fraction of the price to fly versus train, etc. 3. It's cold and flu season and my idiot boomer colleagues have finally started washing their hands. Also, kids in Wuhan have been off school and were being given their homework on an app. They figured out if the app got enough 1* reviews it would get taken off the App Store, so they tanked it. Wuhan, I stand. BTS fans have donated tons of money to relief efforts using the refunds from cancelled concerts. China has had reduced pollution due to the factories shutting down. The pediatric outpatient clinic I work in is running low on some of our other vaccines as it's spurring parents to bring their kids in for vaccines they've been delaying or declining. Over 55,000 natural recoveries. Millennials and Gen Xers consciously trying to improve their sanitary conditions to save the boomers and silent generation. There are many cases where people experienced no symptoms at all. Genuine question: how do people know they had it, then? In the US, at least, even people who are pretty sick aren't being tested in a timely manner, if at all. There have been no deaths in tropical areas such as the Caribbean and Singapore. We have pushed back overpopulation by at least 1 hour. Online gaming has shown that people do not need to be face-to-face to work effectively together. COVID provides an opportunity to companies to experiment with letting employees work from remote locations, and collect data on productivity. That, along with cost savings on office overheads, and corporate culture, is set for an overhaul.